It didn't take much more than a bottle and 2 chairs to make a speakeasy. This is what Daniel Okrent said in his book, Last Call, The Rise and Fall of Prohibition. Today, join us for some stories. Get your own bottle, glass, mug, and relax. This is Speak Easily, and I'm your host, Krista Stauffer.
Sylvania, Georgia.
Sylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What would be the closest?
What it is smack dab in the middle of Augusta and Savannah.
Okay.
From coming west from Savannah, coming east from Augusta, like literally right in the middle. The only reason you would even know where it is because you stop for gas on your way to someplace better.
Did you go to the city much? Was that like a big...
Well,
big deal?
it's funny. Especially Augusta, Savannah was a big deal. We had another little smaller town called Statesboro, Georgia, which is where we went for like most of the shopping. There's the mall there, the movie theaters are there. Because my town had none of that. My town had some grocery stores and the mom and pop shops.
Yeah.
If you want to go anywhere, like even McDonald's, you had to go to Statesboro, which was about 30 minutes away.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not bad to be 30 minutes from a McDonald's.
Yeah,
anymore,
I know.
But...
Well, that's the funny part. Like I laugh because a lot of times I grew up, we did restaurants on very, 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 very special occasions. Everything else was a meal that my grandmother made. So like I remember even the first time I had pizza, my mom had a job in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And we went to New Jersey. And that was the first time we actually had pizza. I think I was 12 or 13. Wow. Yeah, because my
That's
grandma
a
just
cool
made
memory,
my
though.
grandma just made homemade everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but it was homemade Southern food. It wasn't like different ethnicities. So we didn't start having different ethnic food until we were like teens, and my mom did a lot of traveling. So we got exposed to a lot of things after that.
Good Southern cooking, though.
Girl,
There's nothing like
the
it.
best.
There's
Listen,
nothing.
the best.
Ugh.
Yeah, I do. I miss that woman every day. Miss her every day.
What was your favorite of hers?
Her mac and cheese, hands down. Her buttermilk biscuits. Her buttermilk biscuits and the mac and cheese.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 100%. My mom does a pretty damn good job with mac and cheese and the buttermilk biscuits. I mean, just it's
What's the
not quite as
secret?
good as my grandma's, but very close.
Yeah. Is there a secret?
It's made with love.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think there's really a secret. I just think it was just so good. And my grandma never had a recipe a day in her life.
It was just...
Because I was trying to like collect some of these things. Like, Grandma, what is it? Oh, pinch of that, handful of this. I'm like, listen.
Just like, I don't know what that is.
Right.
Like, how
like,
much?
what is this? I know. And never recipes.
No.
Never. So a lot of stuff I do, I guess. And I try to follow recipes sometimes. Sometimes I just do it with my gut, just like she did. But yeah, never recipe. Never, ever.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Ugh. My grandma was always a good cook, too. We weren't Southern, but, Kansas. We were like the flat Midwest because the family's all from Kansas, Oklahoma, that area, some Texas. But, then there were some dishes that they made that were some of the most horrific things I'd ever had. There was one, I still bring it up with my mom today. It was like a meatloaf encased in white bread and cream of mushroom soup.
Oh, no.
I mean, it was, just even thinking about the look of it looked like what was going to come up at the end.
Yeah. Ugh.
And Mom was like, I loved that recipe. And it was like, those were the days that I just wanted to, and we had to eat everything on our plate.
Yes,
I mean,
baby.
That was what you have to do. You clean. It doesn't matter what
there's starving children somewhere. You eat your food.
You eat your food.
I know.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if you try something new, okay.
Yeah.
There wasn't just one bite. No. Finish it.
Yeah. That too.
You don't like that?
Yeah.
Did you ever do like spit in your napkin thing?
Unfortunately, we didn't have a dog, so I couldn't give the dog anything. So yeah, I've had where you chew and it feels like it keeps growing more and more in your mouth. You're like, how did this grow?
Like, this is awful.
Yeah.
Is there anything you won't eat? Or are you pretty open to?
I don't eat chitlins. And I mean, that's a big Southern thing. It's a big Southern thing. And I used to sit on my grandma's back porch when they were cleaning them, and it is the most god-awful smell
Oh, gosh.
ever. Maybe, I mean, they clean the hell out of them, but I can't do it. Like, my whole family, except for me and my sister, they eat them, and I'm like, nope. Nope. The answer is no.
I don't think I could do that.
No.
You're like, I'm a
No.
vegetarian?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Except
I have a hard enough time with my own intestines. I'm not trying to have animals
They're fried, right?
in here. It can be fried, boiled, baked. I mean, they could do a whole bunch of stuff with it. But they usually brine them in, like, they clean them and then they brine them, like, in vinegar or some other stuff and then cook them in spices. And I'm like, I don't care what you do with it. I don't want it.
Well, knowing what it is, too.
Correct.
That's gross.
Yeah, it's just disgusting.
Like,
and I literally hate it. And the funny part is, I know why they did it, right? Like especially back in the day, you know, my grandma, there was a joke, it used to be in the movie Boomerang, when John Witherspoon said, "We everything on a pig from the rooter to the tutor." He's not lying.
He's not lying.
He's not lying. Like, literally nothing goes to waste because they couldn't afford for anything to go to waste. So they had to figure out how to make anything delectable as best they can and put all kinds of stuff in it. I'm just like, I'm not the one. I'm the modern girl. Like, I'm sorry. Like, roughing it for me is like a Motel 6. I don't camp. I don't do stuff like I don't like it. Yeah. Like, I love when people do it. I love walking in the nature. But living out there, like, on a tent, in a blow-up thing, no. Mm-mm.
No, I was talking with somebody yesterday, and they're just like, oh, just to be in the middle of nowhere with nobody around. And I'm like, that sounds awful.
Right. Yes.
Awful.
Yeah.
Extrovert death.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't work for me.
For like a weekend, maybe just to decompress and go start up again. But like for the rest of my life, I'm not a hermit. No. I can't be a hermit. I can't. No. I got to be with people.
Yes. I'm okay if we're in a cabin in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of friends.
Right. I mean, that's different. Nice bonfire, some s'mores. Yeah,
hot tub would be nice.
Hot tub is nice.
We're not really roughing it.
I mean, right. I mean, I don't rough it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. Some people might rough it. I'm like,
oh, yeah.
That's just me.
No. I used to. I mean, again, growing up in the mountains, that's what you do.
Right.
And come to find out, my mother hated it. Really? She hated camping.
She just did it for y'all.
She did.
Oh, that's a good mama.
She was a good.
Because I'm gonna tell my kids, like, sorry for your luck.
No,
you can go through that.
You have kiddos.
We have 2. So, So 26. Our oldest just turned 26, and Aji just turned 21 in February.
I know, and I know that one.
I know.
I love that we made that connection.
I know. I sent Aji that picture. I was like, oh, so the people I know.
What is she doing?
Finishing senior year. Yeah, is a film student. Doing really well. Working on their master's thesis. And it's very exciting.
That's so exciting.
It's very exciting.
And they are going to continue, or are they going to be done? Like, are they thinking master's?
Not right now.
Okay.
They're like, Mom, I've been in school for a really long time. Because Aji went to Columbus State while they were in high school. So it's literally been about 6 solid years of college.
That's true.
And Aji's like, I need a break, Mom. I need a break.
What do they want to do with it?
Be director, write and direct. Yep, write and direct.
As well they should.
Yeah.
I've seen their work. Yes. I remember, I got to write with your kiddo, I got to work with your kiddo with their script, and I got to direct. And that, to be honest, that was the first time for me directing adults. Now, it was COVID, so I didn't have as much as I would have liked.
Yes.
But when we got to read through those scripts, I was like, there is no question this is the one that I want. It was so fun.
Thank you. Aji worked so hard on it.
So fun.
On everything. I mean, Aji's such a conscientious kid. Like, I remember every year, so ever since probably 7th grade, they'd always know what the next spring play would be, right? So as soon as the end school year, Aji would be in all summer singing, learning parts, like just all summer long. And the auditions wouldn't be until like January. Doesn't matter. Like,
you prep for it.
Always.
Yeah.
Like, the immaculate performer, immaculate person, just
love that.
Such a great heart, loves to do this work, loves to bring joy to people. Yeah.
And that's important because, working in the arts, like, if you stop loving it, you need to stop doing it.
Correct.
It's not, you can't without the passion.
That's right.
It's just impossible.
That's right. Yeah.
And you see it. You see it fade out of people.
Oh, 100%.
And that's okay. But it's like, at that point, be okay to stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's not going to work for you.
No.
So
I love it so much. I often tell people, like, I wish corporate structured businesses and teams were more like how productions run, right? Because, like, literally everybody knows their place. The lighting team, the costumers, the production team, the actors, like all these people know, the house manager, the ushers, like everybody knows the role they play. And they all work together in this beautiful unison to be able to produce this thing that's so gorgeous.
Right.
Like, and I'm like, if we thought more like that in the work that we did, I mean, how much more exciting and enjoyable would it be?
Because it's the arts.
Yeah.
But you do everything.
I do too much.
I know.
I do too much.
And I say that because I get
You do
it.
too much. I know.
We've spread the peanut butter a little thin on that bread.
We do.
What was your start? Like, where did everything start? You grew up in Georgia.
Oh, yeah. I grew up in Georgia.
Did you stay there?
I did not. I literally 2 days after I graduated high school, I was like, peace out. My mom she did these things called outages. So she did nuclear chemistry when she was a young person.
Wow.
So, yeah, my mom's
That's incredible.
ridiculously brilliant. Such an amazing woman. She's very STEM oriented. My sister's very STEM oriented. I am more artistic and creative, which is so interesting. But she did these outages across the United States. So we lived with my grandmother while my mom traveled outside the home. And so she ended up getting a full-time job in Washington State and decided to stay. And so as soon as I finished high school, I was like, later taters. And I moved to Washington State to live with her full-time and go to school.
Okay.
And it was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
I laughed because I always say I wanted to get away from a small town. I went to college in a small town. And I'm like, but do I really want to get away? Because I keep doing this.
It was a different weather pattern.
Yeah. Oh, much different because it was like in the valley. So it's about 2 hours east of Seattle. It was in the valley. And you talking about dramatic snowfall in the winter.
Oh, yeah.
Like dramatic. And there's passes on each side, right? So there was a couple times that I didn't see my mom for months and months and months because she couldn't get over the pass because the snow had blocked everything. Yeah, it's crazy.
Is that like Donner Party kind of stuff?
I mean, it could have been. I mean, we had a slaughterhouse really close. And we had we were famous for Ellensburg lamb. It was Ellensburg, Washington, Ellensburg lamb. And every morning you would wake up, the whiff from that lovely lamb slaughterhouse would wake you up every morning. Not like the Folgers commercial. We're like,
no.
You know, no, it was really bad. It was really bad.
I love that you went for the Christmas commercial too.
I know. That's my favorite one.
You see, there's a couple parodies that are made of it. You've got to watch it. Of the kid that comes home from like the Peace Corps or something to his sister.
Yeah.
And everybody talks about like, there's something going on between the two. Like they had so much chemistry that people are like, is he with his sister?
Right. Yeah, a little bit.
There's a whole parody of that they do
have
end
to
up
see
together.
that.
It's so.
That is.
But
hilarious.
that commercial, Oh, Peter! I remember that one. Though. I can hear it. I can see it.
Never ever forget it. They played it for 20 years. I swear to God, they played it for 20 years.
Do they still do it?
That's a good question. I don't watch regular television anymore, so I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised if they still play it.
It's the sweet little boy that is a snowman, and then he gets his Campbell's soup.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's so cute.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
It's like that one.
Yeah, I do like that one,
that is
too.
You can feel that commercial.
Yes.
Just growing up.
100%. Yes.
So anyway, way off topic.
Yes.
But
That's
then
okay.
you were in
That's what
Washington.
we do. So in Washington State, loved it there. Donner Party was so great. And it was in the early 90s, which made me really happy because that was the beginning of grunge music, right? And so we were in the middle of it. So the Screaming Trees were from Ellensburg, where I went to college, which was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then Seattle's 2 hours away. So we could see Pearl Jam anytime you wanted. You could see Soundgarden. You could see Nirvana, like all the whole crew. And that was because Singles came out. I don't know if you remember Singles. It came out in 90, and then I started college in 91. Okay. And so then you're in the swell. Yeah. Oh my God, so much. So my friend Trina was in the Even Flow video from Pearl Jam.
Oh my gosh.
If you watch the video, there's this one hand that has these crazy nails that's out like reaching up for the sky. That's my friend Trina.
Oh, that's
funny. I know. It's like claim to fame. It was so great. But there was just so many cool things that happened in that area. Like Seattle was really up and coming then. Like
that
it
was the
heyday. Like when they created, it was called then the Experience Music Project. I think I forget what it's called now. Maybe the Museum of Modern Pop or something like that now, but they named it differently. But it was so cool when it first started. Like I was there when it was like first grand opening, and my God.
Is that the one they have like a display of guitars that runs from? I did go there.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
It is very, very cool. I haven't been there since literally the 90s, but when it first opened, it was phenomenal. Like they had an entire room that was Jimi Hendrix, and if people just don't know Jimi Hendrix, and he's buried in Seattle, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
So is Bruce Lee. Brandon Lee. Brandon Lee is. So anyway, which is also interesting. Just a random graveyard question, just in case Jeopardy asks that one day.
But that's good. That's the stuff that fills monogs.
I know.
And instead of the important stuff.
Yeah. Oh my God, are you kidding me?
I know.
The useless trivia that's in my brain.
I know. I was telling Joe today that I should be, I'm ignoring emails of stuff that has to get done today.
Yeah.
And I'm just figuring out How many key changes are there in After the Love Has Gone by Earth, Wind, and Fire?
There's a lot.
There's a lot. Turns out there's 11, I think. Is that right,
It's
Joe?
11?
Did I say 11? Yeah, 11
Oh,
key
that's
changes.
beautiful.
Oh!
Honey,
that song.
Honey, don't get me started on my Philip. My Philip Bailey, honey. Listen, one of the last concerts that I went to before they tore down Germain Amphitheater was Chris Bodie and Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, forever ago, but my God, it was... Earth, Wind, and Fire is still by far my favorite band in the whole world.
So good.
My favoriteest band in the whole world.
Best concert, hands down, I've ever. Ever. And they were with Chicago.
Oh, now that's... Because Chicago was up there for me, too. Like, I never get tired of them. Yes.
That music. And I went with a girlfriend because I was the Chicago fan. She was the Earth, Wind, and Fire fan.
Yeah.
And we both kept turning to each other. I didn't even realize. I know this. I love this song.
Girl, so many good songs. Yeah. I literally, that's always my go-to when I'm just in a mood. I'm like, EWF all day. So good.
I wonder if Earth, Wind, and Fire ever traveled with blood, sweat, and tears.
Good question. I don't know.
Maybe like all the things are there.
I know.
I've got everything.
I mean,
Earth, Wind, Fire, blood, sweat, tears.
I know. I like it.
Yeah.
They probably shed a few.
I did. They
dropped a few. You know, it's good stuff.
You do. So, okay, we keep getting off the trail here because this is
my life.
This is how you and I work, though, too. So you were in Seattle area.
Yes.
Getting your degree in.
Yes. Hospitality management. So I was a travel and tourism girl. Okay. Well, I started off, interestingly enough, in communications and public speaking.
Oh,
and then, I know, imagine that.
Yeah.
And I had a little tiff with the dean of the communications school. And this one day, I'm just so mad. And I go to my swim class and I said, I don't know if I need this major. So I passed this bulletin board and it had a poster that says, do you like to travel? Do you like to explore new places? Have you considered a career in travel and tourism? I'm like, I do like to travel. I do like new places. Let me just go get a brochure and see what it's about. 2.5 hours later, I walk out of her office with the rest of my calendar of my school year mapped out.
Oh, wow.
And graduating a quarter early.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, okay. So that was quick. Didn't imagine that was going to happen, but it did. But I think what is so beautiful in full circle, I do public speaking.
But you were right.
I never really got away from it.
You didn't need it, though.
I didn't need the degree. That's right.
You really didn't.
I didn't need it.
No.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed travel and tourism. I still enjoy it so much. I was going to be the travel writer, travel TV show person before HGTV and Scripps Howard came onto the scene. So there was one show. It was on PBS. It was called Great Country Inns.
Okay.
And this woman had a half-hour TV show, and she would go to all these bed and breakfasts and little inns around and just show you around. And they'll obviously treat her. And then she has 30-minute show. I'm like, is that not the best damn job in the world? I want that job. So that's what I went to have that degree for.
Okay.
But still had a little bit of a communication still in there. Never made it to the travel writer side.
Yeah.
Worked in a lot of hotels, banquets, and restaurants for a long time, longer than I actually wanted to, needed to. Then decided, well, maybe I should try my hand at this corporate thing. Didn't expect to be there that long. 30 years later.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. It happens. It happens.
Where did you start?
My very first corporate job was a company called ING Investment Management in Atlanta.
Did that have the lion on it?
It did have the lion on it. So that was my first corporate job. And so I worked for our U.S. headquarters in Atlanta, but the company itself was headquartered in The Hague, Netherlands.
Ooh,
so,
Den Haag.
Yes.
My husband studied there.
Yeah, we had a lot of visitors that would come. So I always learned a little bit. We had a bunch of international offices. I always learned a little bit of language just to say hello to people, just enough to make them feel welcome and stuff. So I can say hello and goodbye in a bunch of languages, and I know nothing else. Like,
sometimes that's
nothing
okay.
else. Yeah.
It starts and finishes every conversation.
Listen, exactly.
Hello.
So,
goodbye. You want to get people through the door.
I know,
you know,
in and out. But people were so taken aback. They were so thrilled that somebody took interest in their native language to make them feel welcome. So that was always one of my things. I've always been that hospitality person, above and beyond. When I did work in the hotels. I worked for the Promise Corporations, who were the people who started the Hampton Inn, Homewood Suites, and the Embassy Suites before Hilton took them over. So they were the ones who also pioneered 100% satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. And people thought they were super crazy when they did it. Like, people are going to take advantage of that. Like, some people might, but other people won't. Right. And the reason they did it, too, is to empower their staff at the front desk to be problem solvers. Instead of you having to wait for the manager to say you can do this, we knew what we could do at the front desk to say we're going to take care of this person to make sure they are repeat customers. Wow. And so I learned hospitality in that way, and I don't know anything else.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. There's nothing like good customer service.
Oh, 100%.
And you see it. Our favorite place to eat recently has been Pies and Pints in Worthington.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and we know how sucky working in food service is. It's terrible.
So bad.
So it's like going out of your way to stop the manager and be like, by the way, you guys are doing great.
Oh, yeah.
The folks that you've hired, fantastic.
Yeah.
And they're always taken aback.
Yeah.
And it makes you realize it's because you don't hear
You don't hear it. I'll tell you a great example. It's a hotel, not a restaurant, but I had an event at the Junto, the new Junto Hotel, Friday night, and I was having a wardrobe malfunction. So the girls wanted to come out to play. It wasn't that kind of party.
Not that kind of
party. So I went to the front desk, and literally, how apropos, her name was Angel. Because she was an angel. And I said, Angel, you got a safety pin? She was like, oh, I don't. But got some tape and a stapler. I said, that'll work. So we did a little surgery on my dress with tape and staples. And it held together the rest of the evening. So I said, oh, yeah, you're going to get a great accommodation from me. And I'm like, you lived up to your name. You are angelic to me right now. But those are the kind of things that are just so above and beyond for me that I am so like enamored with people who care about the work that they do and the service that they provide. It's beautiful.
And it's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
It's not hard to be nice. I think people forget that.
Yeah. I agree.
It's okay to ask for help. Yeah. Just simple, basic, take care of what we need.
Yeah.
And smile through it. You know.
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. I never saw that as something that shouldn't just be a thing.
It should be a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we've lost a lot of it.
We've lost it.
Yeah.
So when did you, because you've worked a lot with diversity inclusion.
Yes.
When did some of that begin?
It started way, way back. So when I think back about my childhood, right, we talk about being in the South. You know, up until, interestingly enough, I'm 50 years old this year.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I love it. I love it so much. Do you know the Golden Girls were in their 50s when that show started? So I could be a Golden Girl.
But that's fascinating to me to see. I mean, they looked
80.
Significantly older.
Yeah, but that's what's wild. Yeah. So I might reboot that. I don't know. That would be really funny. That would be really funny. We should do a Columbus version of that.
Let's do that.
So anyway, so when I was 14, I started freshman year in high school. That was the first year we integrated proms and homecoming.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I'm not kidding. I was 14 years old.
Wow.
So there was still a lot of stuff that was segregated in my town. Things were still divided by neighborhoods and parts of town. You know, Black people couldn't buy in certain areas and live in certain areas. And even that same year, 14, was the last year the Ku Klux Klan marched and had a rally. They rallied and paraded every year.
Oh, God.
And that was the last year for that happening. So I always talk to people about just inclusion in a different way because I grew up so excluded from so many things. You know, I didn't learn how to swim as a young person because the pool was for white people. And if you wanted to swim, you had to go to this thing called a beaver dam, which was exactly how it sounds. It's welled up water where the beaver dam was runoff, right? No lifeguards. It's dark. You can't see under the water, like all that stuff. So I was terrified of water and all of those things. So I technically didn't even really learn how to swim until last year. And the most beautiful thing about that, though, 2 young Black teenage kids taught me.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was very cool for me because I didn't see that
That's a good feeling.
Up. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So anyway, so back in the day is when I really said, I don't like being treated as an other. I don't like being in that space. And so I fought hard then. I was also an overachiever.
What?
Believe it or not. I know. It's so out of character for me. But I, president of the student council, president of the honor society, president of the peer mentors, on the debate team, like all these things academically. So I was always trying to be influential, but I was also trying to break the stereotype that people would think about Black people, that Black people can be smart, Black people can be accomplished, Black people can be loving, kinding, and all those kind of things that people didn't see in my hometown. They didn't see that. So that kind of started there. And even when I went to college, I started our first Black student union, and also helped started our it was called GLAD then, but our LGBTQIA organization as well. So that was a big deal for me.
Especially in the 90s.
Honey, in the 90s, because there was still,
that
believe
was
it or
the AIDS
not,
epidemic.
It was, yes, it was a lot of homophobia, a lot of racism, even in Washington State, which you would think, because of Seattle is liberal and you think that kind of thing. It's not that way. It's not always that way. So we did a lot. I'm always been an activist and a community driven person. So that's always started that for me, and I've always done that. And even in workplaces, I'm the voice that fights for the underdog, as they say, and I've never stopped. And so I never will to the last breath out of my body. This is what I do. Yeah. You know?
Is it? And I've been blessed with so many DEI folks that Karen Hewitt off the top of my list.
That's my baby.
But they were so good about presenting what you don't even realize is something that you hold as a value, whether negative or positive.
Yeah.
But having the experience to sit down and just kind of look in here and decide, like, oh, and also to be able to be okay with changing your perspective on that.
Right.
So how do you work with folks to sort of move around their own judgments?
Yeah, I love that. I always say everything starts from inside, right? I did this little fun thing because I like puns and I like alliteration and I like all this stuff. So I took the word engage, ENGAEGE, and I made a little slogan out of it. Says everyone needs guidance and grace every day. And I 100% believe that. So it doesn't matter if you're the CEO of the company or the receptionist, you need guidance and you need grace because you're going to make mistakes. You don't know everything. And even some of the things you know, you learned wrong. Right. And so I think everybody needs to take a little break on the ego and say, you know what? I may not be doing this right, or I may be mistaken on what this is. And so I try to get people to see that about themselves. And it's not a judgment. It is, you just have to understand. All information is neutral. How you respond to it is where the difficulty and the conflict happens. And so I try to have conversation with people in that way and saying, okay, this thing happened. What are you feeling? Like what actual emotions are you feeling? Why are you feeling that? Where did that stem from? And so when you can figure that out and find the root cause, it's much easier to solve for root cause instead of a symptom. Right. And so that's what I try to do. I try to help people see where the root cause of something is, and it's usually not what they think it is.
Right. And a lot of times I think it's what you've learned growing up.
Absolutely.
Or what you saw, or what you experienced, and what was okay with that.
Right. And there's so much about your childhood, and I literally had this conversation earlier this week. Like, there's things I can't remember from last week. I remember things from 45 years ago. Like, things that happened to me, good, bad, or indifferent. Like, I remember them, and they have left such a lasting impression on me. And they also kind of dictate how I present and live right now. And so I'm so concerned and thoughtful about the youth. And what we are teaching them, how we are treating them, what are they seeing, because this stuff will take them all the way through their lives and they will be thinking about it. So when you meet very ill-adjusted adults, you know they had a pretty shitty childhood.
And just even though, I mean, the world is so much harder for that generation now. You know, I've got a 16-year-old at home and a 12-year-old. So my kids are about 10, not even 10 years behind yours, but just about that. And like, it's so hard on them. But they also have so many things that I wish we would have had. Even things like the diagnosis of ADHD. How many of those kids were just bad kids?
Oh, I was one of those kids because, you know, I laugh because and I didn't get I'm still in the process of getting diagnosed, even though I've self-diagnosed myself, Dr. Webb, MD, thank you very much. But it's like, I was the kindergarten kid that they'd say, walk to the cafeteria, but don't touch the wall. And I'm like, all the way around. And they were like, yeah, you sit at the bad kids table. And we had a bad kids table. So you were sitting literally in the middle of the cafe where everyone was sitting around you. So you were ridiculed and you were punished all the time. Like, ooh, you the bad kid. Ooh, you got in trouble. And I think about that so much. Even at 50 years old, I think about that feeling as a 5-year-old being singled out and looked at as a bad kid.
Yeah. Even though you just
touching a wall.
Couldn't help it.
I couldn't help it. If you tell me not to do something, you're just begging me to do it.
Right.
I mean, and I do take that in real life now.
That,
I mean, it's my adult life too.
Don't touch the art. Ooh, the art.
Art. That's cute.
But I wish that kids had the information. Yes, they have too much information.
Yeah.
But the knowledge of things at such an earlier age, I'm envious of.
Yeah.
They know racial injustice.
Yeah.
They know homophobia.
Yeah.
They see it.
Yeah.
And it's so prominent.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it still exists, but they're aware this still exists.
Yeah. And it boggles their mind, like, how did y'all let it get this way? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember I was talking to when I was still working back in corporate. It was a gentleman who was a girl dad, so he had all girls, and he was talking about working with one of our women ERGs, our employee resource groups, and he said the reason he do it because he has kids and he wants his girls to have equal pay when they grow up. And the girls looked at him really like, why wouldn't we? Mm-hmm. I'm like, isn't that the question?
Right.
Isn't that the question? Mm-hmm. So that was shocking to them that anybody would not get paid equally for the jobs that they were doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it makes no sense. Mm-hmm. And now we're looking at like 200 years before we get equity. Mm-hmm. How?
It's stupid.
It is.
It's so stupid.
It is.
And just to realize, even my own prejudices versus my privileges.
Yeah.
Like, that's not fair.
Right.
But why can't we have the same thing for this person here?
Exactly.
It's insane.
It makes no sense at all to me. And so I spend so much time dissecting and analyzing, like to ad nauseum, to be honest, with how do you get your psychology to change? Because that's what it is at this point, is psychology.
Yeah.
And it's behavioral. And like, how do you make that change? Even some of the clients that I work with, they say, well, we're going to mandate this and we're going to mandate that. And I go, well, okay, if you mandate that, what do you expect the behavior change to be? Mm-hmm. Oh, well, we don't know if they're going to change. Well, then why are you mandating something? Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't expect behavior to change and you don't feel like you're going to coach or, discipline the person if they don't do it, why bother?
Right.
Why bother?
Right. Because again, if you tell somebody not to touch the art, they're going to touch the art.
Touch the art.
Yeah.
They're always going to touch the
art.
Or
they're going to fight the machine.
Correct.
That's what we've learned from Rage Against the Machine.
Correct.
You fight the man.
Fight the man.
Yeah. And it's corporate, to me, is nightmare fuel. I just can't. I would not survive.
It's not for the faint of heart. And I tried for 30 years, 2/3 of my life right now. I spent there and I'm like, yeah, not the rest.
No.
Not the rest. No.
And I get it. I mean, my husband's in a corporate job, but it just is soul sucking.
It is. It is. And they think they know best. Even the people in there, they always think they know best. Mm-hmm. And what I find so fascinating is in my role as a consultant, I'm looked at as valued, and with the judgment that I'm bringing is very valued. When I was working in an organization, I did not have the same value. No. And I'm like, I'm the same person with the same knowledge and the same skill set, but now because I'm outside of the company.
Thank you for your insight.
It's wild.
Yeah.
It is wild. Yeah. And it's kind of the joke that everybody talks about. Oh, you need to change that light bulb? Well, call a consultant. It'll only cost you $10,000. I mean, it's because that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Jeez. So now you've left corporate, essentially, but you're still in a weird way, speaking and engaging.
Yeah.
But it's better, though.
It is
you're
better.
On your terms.
I am. And that's the thing. And I always felt like, too, when I was in a corporate job, I'm in this one lane and I'm doing this one thing and I'm only touching so many people. Mm-hmm. But now with my consultancy, I can touch so many people in so many different companies in so many places. I have clients in multiple locations around the United States, which is really cool.
I like that travel and tourism thing.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So, I mean, I would do international stuff, but I don't know international laws around HR and stuff, so I wouldn't be as effective.
True.
But I know the States very well. But if somebody wants to bring me to a conference in Europe with American folks, I'll do that.
Got that?
Everybody listen. Any place, I go to Europe in a heartbeat.
Do you find that some people are hesitant when you start speaking on DEI matters? Like there's suddenly just like a wall, like
Oh, yeah.
Or the I'm good wall.
Yeah. My favorite is, in the audience obviously won't see this, but their arms are all folded up, face all tied up. And then usually, this is in the audience, but even now with webinars, because I've been doing webinars since COVID, the face. And I'm like, you can turn your camera off if you're going to look at me like that, dude. Mm-hmm. So it's just face, right? But then I do about an hour. So by the time I get about 45 minutes, 50 minutes, you've kind of seen the arms kind of come down. Yeah. Maybe a little smirk on their face. I'm like, am I getting to you?
Gotcha.
Am I?
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that's my favorite part. Because there's people who are in there who are, no matter what you say, they're going to be down for it. They're like, yes, I'm about it. I'm so glad you're here. Blah, blah, blah. But then there's the skeptics, right? The people who are like, I don't want to do this. I don't believe in this woke stuff. You know, I've heard a bazillion times.
Oh, yeah.
But then when I get to them in the end, especially the end when somebody comes up to the stage afterwards, which makes me so happy, they'll say, I've never heard it put that way before. Mm-hmm. It's got me thinking. I'm like, that's what I wanted you to do.
Check.
That's
Job
what I wanted
done.
you to do.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm like, you're not chick, I'm out. I mean, that's the beautiful part. I love when the light bulb goes on for people because I think there's so much mythology out there around what DE&I really is about. Mm-hmm. And I tell people, it's about humanity. It's about how do we see each other and really understand what the needs are and where are the needs not being met. How can we help each other get the needs that we have? How can we support each other? You know, we all want the basics, right? We want health and we want shelter and we want security and we want financial independence, those kind of things. That's anybody, everybody. You know, how we go about getting it. That's a question. You know, who do we work with to get it? That's another question. So all those kind of things are coming up. And so I try to help people really understand in as plain language as possible, you know, what this is about.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's basic human need. Mm-hmm. And that hierarchy of needs that we have. And again, it's not that hard.
It's not. We make it much harder than it needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, 2020 brought about so much.
Ooh, child.
What a year, man. What a year.
It was rough.
I hate that year.
It was rough.
I'm going to go on record and say, like, that was the worst.
That became my worst year. 2001 is still a bad year. That's when my grandmother passed away, 2001, and when 9/11 happened. Yep. So there was a lot of crap that happened in 2001. But 2020 was really bad. Yeah. It was really bad. And I'll tell you, you know, even before George Floyd happened, the Ahmaud Arbery case happened. And that one hit me so hard because in Brunswick, where he was about an hour from where I grew up.
Jeez.
It could have been me. It could have been my cousins. It could have been anybody that I know. And I shouldn't have watched the video. I didn't know what I was expecting. Yeah. I saw the video, and I'm seeing it in my mind right now. It haunts me. It haunts me. Yeah. It haunts me. And so that happened, and then you had Breonna Taylor, and you had George Floyd. It's like, oh my God, I can't breathe. Like, I literally can't breathe. Right. The trauma was just coming. And Aji, my youngest, and I, when they had the protests in Columbus that weekend after George Floyd's murder, we both went down. And there were so many people there, and I felt like, first of all, I felt camaraderie with a lot of people. There were so many people. And I'm thinking walks of life. Yep. White, black, Latina, whatever. It's like everybody was there, and everybody was peacefully protesting, mind you. Yes. And then something went way awry with the Columbus Police Department, and we all got pepper sprayed and bear maced, and it was horrendous. I felt like I was watching the Edmund Pettus Bridge and Selma all over again. Yeah. And I was so upset. And it was obviously in the middle of COVID. So now you're gasping. You're taking your mask off, gasping because this pepper spray and stuff is in your face and your throat. And God bless these street medics who had whatever concoction in their thing. And they're pouring it in your eyes and like, calm down. We'll help you. And I just remember being so overwhelmed with grief. Because I think about my mom, born in 51, was 18 years old in 1969 in the thick of the civil rights movement. And then 50 years later, my baby was 18 years old with George Floyd. I'm like, when is this going to stop? Right. When is it going to change? And I still don't know the answer to that. I still don't know the answer to that. But I figure in my own life, I will touch as many people as I can. I will talk to as many people as I can. I will love on as many people as I can.
And you do.
You know, I'm in a space of healing, not hurting. Right. You know, and if you feel like you have to hurt me because you can't heal, then I'm going to walk away. I'm not going to hurt you back. I'm just going to walk away. But I'm going to try to heal as many people as I can in this process.
Yeah. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's necessary for that.
For sure.
And you're doing such a great job with it too.
Thank you, hon.
Your love for the arts.
I love it all. I'm just one of those people that I said I never wanted to survive life. I wanted to thrive in life.
Yeah.
And I try to find the little moments of joy, just the little moments of joy to keep me going.
Yeah.
You know, like being here with you is a beautiful moment of joy. And I was so looking forward to being here.
Oh, it's so fun.
So looking forward to being here.
Yes, you've made my day off. For sure. This isn't work though. I mean, no. This is doing what we would probably do if there weren't even microphones.
100%. But there's not a mic that I don't like, honey. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Are you a singer?
I'm not a singer. I've rapped back in the day. Back in the 90s,
Okay.
I laughed. This is my claim to fame. I tease people all the time. I was a part of a 2-person rap group called Lyrical Defiance.
Okay.
And I was Crescendo with a K.
Crescendo.
Baby.
Crescendo. Love that.
So we had 2 shows.
Okay.
And that was it.
Okay. Well,
that was it.
It was like your hello, goodbye.
It was hello, goodbye. See? That's what happens. Nice pulling that back around.
Yeah.
But it was fun. And then the last time I, quote unquote, rapped in public, Aji and I did a TEDx Columbus women's event in 2015. And we did, at the time, a mother-daughter rap.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We wrote it ourselves, the music and the lyrics and everything.
Nice.
And it brought the house down. I'm just saying. So every now and then I'll pop in and do a little something for people so they just know, you know.
Now, did you go by Crescendo when you did that?
No, it was just La Baker.
Okay.
La and Aji is what we called it.
Where did Aji's name come from?
So Aji, full name is Aujoli, Aujolie.
Is that French?
It sounds French. It sounds French, but it was from, I made it up in the 6th grade. So the AU is from my sister Audra, the JO is from my mother Joyce, and the LIE is from my grandmother Millie.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, 6th grade. I came up with that name. Didn't even know
Good
when
for
I would
you.
be a mom, if I would be a mom.
Yeah.
But I just knew I wanted to pay homage to the women who meant so much to me in my life. And Aji, the funny part is Aji is such a amalgamation of all of us. This kid, 21 years old, but has an old soul. We always tease because, Aji grew up in a car riding with me. It was 90s hip-hop and R&B and grunge and like the Chili Peppers and all that. We even went to a Chili Peppers concert together. It was so fun. Nice. But so Aji's musical tastes are just all over the place. Loves everything because I love everything.
Right.
So Aji really grew up just having such a sense of self, a sense of love, knowing that they could be creative as they wanted to be, and just loving life. I wanted Aji to have the best childhood, the best life, so that they can go and spread love and not hurt.
That's so cool.
So I really wanted to make sure of that. And so, for the listening audience, so they understand, Aji is transgender. Now and uses they them pronouns. And at first Aji was very afraid to come out to the family, first as gay and then as transgender. And I told Aji, I said, no matter what anybody thinks or says, you have to be true to yourself. Whatever you do, be true to yourself. And initially our family, all of our families, both the in-laws, my family and my husband's family, didn't know how to handle it, still were struggling. And Aji transitioned 5 years ago, and it was still really hard. And Aji stayed respectful and stood their ground, and now they've all come around. And I said, kudos to you, baby, because you didn't try to have conflict. You said, I respect you. I hope one day you can respect me, and I'm going to love you no matter what. And it softened their hearts, and it warmed them up, and now they're so great. And my husband and I both are so proud. Both our kids are LGBTQIA, and we are fiercely protective. Yeah. That's why these laws that are coming up right now are just hateful, mean-spirited, evil laws that have really nothing to do with nothing. Nope. And so I will continually be on that picket line. I will continually use my voice in voting. I will continually use my voice all over the place to protect my kids and people like them.
I love that.
Yeah.
Same. It's important.
It's very important.
And I think, too, that it is so empowering for your kiddo to be the face and the voice of understanding. Because it is hard. It's hard. But it's also I guess what stands stronger is that I love this kid. Yeah. And they're happy.
And that's exactly right.
And we want their happiness. We do this parenting thing to raise humans. Yeah. And at some point, they're not our human to raise anymore.
That's right.
So it's like, obviously, you know, here you are. And just standing is such a powerful example of this is who I am.
Right.
Because we didn't know.
We didn't know.
We weren't given the freedom to know that either.
No, not at all. No. As kids, I mean, I remember, you know, I had a great friend when I was a freshman in high school, and his name was Thomas Jackson. I don't know if he's still alive or whatever. It's been like
which unfortunately is one of those names you can't just Google.
I mean, you
and
can't
find
Google
him.
it, but you know, but I know it. Looking back in time, he was gay, and he never was truly able to come out. Mm-hmm. And I remember that, but I remember how people used to treat him. They're like, oh, he's a little funny. And they twist their little hand over like this. And that's what they would always say about people who were LGBTQIA. And they didn't even know, we didn't have that language back then. We didn't even have that language back then. We didn't know what to say. But I have to imagine there was such a part of his life that he didn't fully get to live. And that makes me sad.
Yeah.
It makes me sad when you have to hide things about yourself that you just can't be authentic because you're afraid that how people are going to treat you.
Because some people think it's wrong. And
bad. Yeah.
Also, why do they care so much?
Why do you care, boo?
It doesn't make sense.
Mind your own business. Seriously.
We were told that by Salt and Pepper.
Listen, honey.
They need to sing it again.
Honey, that part. Listen.
I mean,
none of your business.
I saw them in concert. They were really good.
Oh, they're so good. They're so good. I did back in the day, back in the 90s, I did a show where we did What a Man.
Oh, yeah.
And I did all the raps. Let me tell you, it's hard.
That's a lot.
To catch your breath. To do all of those.
Yes.
So, but I did it. So these lungs, baby.
Tell you what.
These lungs.
I one time, just for funsies, karaoke did Baby Got Back, but in my voice. So in more of like a theatrical presentation style voice. I like big butts, and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny.
Can't deny.
But that same thing, once you start rolling, it was like, I had to stop. I was like, I can't breathe through this anymore.
Yeah.
So much.
Yeah. Well, one of my favorite karaoke songs, and I just this year got to do it fully without losing all my breath, in homage of the queen herself, Tina Turner. I would always do Proud Mary, the Ike and Tina version, not the CCR version. And honey, you can't just do it. You got to do it.
You got to do that whole thing.
And honey, we were dancing. I had backup dancers and everything.
With your rolling.
Honey, baby.
Yes.
We were.
Oh, that's
It was plush.
That's
it was plush. It's a bring it house down kind of thing.
It really
I'm telling you, it's good. It's really good.
It's such a good version of it. Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This was just like talking with my girlfriend.
But that's what I love about it, and having people like you in here, that this is something that we would just be doing over a cup of coffee anyway.
We would.
Or a glass of wine.
Or, whichever one. Whichever one. Yeah. This is awesome.
So.
Yeah.
And where can folks find you and learn a little bit more
Yes,
about you?
I am on all the social medias. You can find me personally at LaChandra B. Baker, LaChandra BBaker, or the business is at LBB Edutainment. It just like it sounds, education and entertainment put together. So LBBEDUTAINMENT.
It's like you've done that before or something.
A little bit.
Once in a while.
Every now and then.
And all the socials on the...
Yes, all the socials. All the socials.
So much fun. I'm so proud of the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
The person that you are. And
thank you. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's one of the things I love about Columbus is the connection of all the people. It's the smallest big town I've ever lived in.
And that's just so nice.
It is very nice.
Sometimes it's gross weather.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I mean, they said El Nino this year is like blizzard of 78, bad winter. I'm like, okay.
No.
That's what I've heard.
No.
That's what I've heard.
Farmers, take back your almanac.
Yeah, I know. Same.
Boo.
Boo-hoo.
But I love you anyway.
I love you too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Boxland Media. Think big.